WWE RAW, the final one before Elimination Chamber. They had some questions to answer, and I think they did an okay job with it. Just a quick run through of what we saw. I say quick. Nothing on this show is ever quick. But you have Logan Paul and CM Punk. They do a bit of a back and forth. I am not one to give the Paul brothers any sort of credit at all. All I will say is Logan Paul is very good at being unlikable. Just spectacularly accomplished in the world of being unlikable is Logan Paul. And I guess he gets credit for that in this world. For CM Punk, he has such a way of making every promo feel like it is a big deal and just like a moment that you are watching. I would imagine somewhere down the line, we get a Punk Logan Paul match here. I don't know if we'll get a full-on feud before WrestleMania. I don't anticipate this being the WrestleMania match, but I do think that we will get that build here at some point. Hey, Brady Hitman, how's it going, man? Thanks for popping in. Really appreciate it. Oh yes, no, Toxic. WWE has not made Logan Paul any more unlikable. He has just found an outlet for that unlikability. Yeah, that's that is very fair. Brady, we will get to the Cody Rock thing in just a second here. Just kind of running through what we saw from the show, but I will definitely answer that here in a second because I put up a video on this on YouTube. I didn't hate that segment as much as everyone else did. And I think there's a few ways they can go. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, it was Penta against Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne. A fun triple threat. Like, Penta gets to show off how awesome he is. Again, Pete Dunne is a phenomenal base for him to do that. And Kaiser ends up getting a shit-eating win. So you get a couple of things out of that. I still think there's like a couple levels, that Kaiser could get to while Penta is just scratching the surface. We get the John Cena video package. Interested to see what they do with him coming off of all of this discussion around, again, to Brady's point, the Illuminati angle that was shot this week. And LWO against the New Day was what it needed to be. I thought the crowd was a little flat for this one, but you like the fire from Dragon Lee coming out after. He just gets drilled. Gunther, again, another reminder, and Toxic, we were so worried about this when this haul was going on about how, man, are they starting to turn Gunther babyface a little bit? Right around the time he loses to Cody and all those things, and it's, oh man, this guy's maybe, nope. And this is why you don't. Because he was just an unbelievable asshole to Akira Tozawa. Like the whole, we have some things in common. And then looks up at the crowd, not many, but some. That just, it's just such a dick move. And it's so good. And I think there's a lot of points that he was making. Like, you moved your whole life over here to America to come to the WWE and do TikTok dances. Tozawa is certainly someone who I think would fall under the category of remarkably underutilized. And, like, honestly, this whole thing where he is running through Alpha Academy, if they, like, we've tried the Otis being serious before and the haircut and all those things. But basically, if you just wanted to move those guys over to Gunther and just do the Gable thing, but better with Gunther, I actually wouldn't hate it. Like, I wouldn't mind an actual serious Tozawa situation here at some point. Probably wouldn't happen. Definitely wouldn't happen with Maxine Dupree. But I think there was at least something if Gunther needed another faction behind him. But that one seems a little bit more unlikely. Anyway, Tozawa firing up, crowd is getting into it, and then Gunther punts his brain into the 9th row, chops the bejesus out of him, and all of those things, and then eventually it comes away with a win, and then an otherworldly beatdown of Alpha Academy. Like, the sleeper where Tozawa's legs are dangling is... it just makes you look like such a dick, and just so dominant as well. And then Jey Uso runs out for the save, maybe a little late, and he kind of does a bit of, like, it wasn't full on, like, Matt Hardy is getting assaulted, and Jeff is doing this thing in AEW, but he took his time getting down there before Gunther slid out of the ring. It's like, hey, appreciate it, but maybe... Gotta sped that process up a little bit here. Dakota Kai against Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I thought they both put on a very good show. This was a phenomenal match between the two of them. A couple moments that maybe weren't as crisp, but it was really entertaining, and it gets the crowd involved. And it has been my problem with women's wrestling in general for a while. There's no real story with it. And they're trying to tell one now here with Ivy Nile, and that is kind of the bigger thing, but you can't just, it's what they're trying to do with the tag team division right now. you can't just throw out match and have it be, and now it's a storyline. That doesn't get people invested. Like, it was a fun match. It was a very good wrestling match, but we need to get a bit more emotionally invested in these characters here. And that's something that's been missing from women's wrestling, I think, in general, for a very long time. Sami Zayn's promo was fantastic, getting across the emotion of the moment. I'm happy he did not assault Kevin Owens' mother on his trip out to where they were living. So that's good of him to do. Braun Breaker against Dominic Mysterio. I think that there were a few DQ, getting a few more DQ losses here, but it still made Braun look like a monster. That he ran the ropes so hard. I saw someone on Twitter be like, does he hate Dominic Mysterio? Because that is the fastest I have seen him move in ever. And he hits that clothesline there. Brady, you can ask your questions whenever you want. I don't mind. I can scroll back to them after, as long as you understand that maybe it'll take me a couple of seconds to get to them. You can rapid fire as many questions as you want in there. I do not mind at all. But, yeah, like, I don't think we needed to save Dominic Mysterio from getting beat, but you do a DQ finish, and then Braun gets to still look strong, and then a bit of a face-to-face with Finn Balor, and I wonder if he's going to be included now in the Intercontinental title feud going into WrestleMania with presumably AJ Styles as well. And then we get to the Cody promo. And so again, Brady asking, I don't get this Illuminati angle for Cody and The Rock. So Cody, they did have some loose ends to try to tie up from Friday. And I said on a video that I posted on YouTube, I didn't think this was that bad. I think because I wasn't writing off this feud anyway after the Netflix thing and just kind of viewed it as, no, he's buttering up. He's being really nice. This is him being overly cordial to Cody, instead of just completely writing off that feud. No, this is him trying to soften him up a little bit, and then eventually there's going to be a crack through there. Could that have been a little bit tighter than 27 minutes on Friday? But I still think that there are intriguing things that you can get to from this. And so Cody comes out and says, like, basically it should be no, but I have a family to think about. And he lists off, like, kids, wife, family, Brody's kids, all of those sorts of things. And so he has a lot of this. And then Seth comes out and says they fought against this last year. He makes a lot of really good points. And I think having Seth be the one to be like, hey, shithead, like, hey, my leg fell off last year to make sure that you won the championship. And now you're going back to him. That's kind of dumb of you. Also, I did this. I turned my back on my boys, and I went with the authority, and I've lived with that for forever. That I feel like that was really fantastic. And I've said on here a few times, I'm not a Seth Rollins guy. Like, I find his promos to be very pro wrestling. You know, like, I feel like it not for me. But this was great. This was very, very good. And so I do like the reference that Brady makes there with the Illuminati. Someone laughed at me for saying Illuminati, and then they said The Rock meant the devil and Cody's meant to sell his soul. That's literally the Illuminati. Yeah, like, there is a little bit of that. And I think there's a few ways you can go with this. Like, I think if this were a video game, right, or a TV show, then I think one of the obvious ways is Cody goes with Rock. It's like, yeah, I sold my soul. And I think the breadcrumbs that they've laid along the way make it a little bit more believable that you can do that. Remember the promo that he cut right before Royal Rumble, the "Are you my friend?" thing with CM Punk, where, like, it is obvious that the burden of being champion was wearing on him. And it's not just that he's champion, but he's champion and his friends are coming after him. Kevin Owens first got his title match in storyline because Cody was like, you deserve this, man. We're going to do it. And then it devolves into this absolutely brutal blood feud that ends with Kevin going neck first through a ladder. But that was a friend of his, right? And it led to his friend, Randy Orton, getting package pile driven. And now all of his friends, like CM Punk, kind of a friend, Sami Zayn, all these guys, like, no, I'm coming for you. Like, I'm happy for you. I want that spot now. And so, like, yeah, I got all my friends who are coming at me. And so you can make, for that character, you can make a legitimate reasoning for, well, if all my friends are coming after me, why wouldn't I go with the most powerful man in WWE and in a lot of entertainment? Why wouldn't I go with that guy? If these guys are going to be shitty to me anyway, I may as well make hundreds of millions of dollars being with The Rock and doing that sort of a thing. Obviously, like from a business standpoint, that would be the height of stupidity that they would do that. I don't think that is a way to go with this, even a little bit. But I do think because of merchandise and the story that you've just told and everything like that, like Cody is your big baby face right now. But if you just wanted to turn him into Homelander, you could do that real easy with a thing with The Rock. Another way they could go and again, it is the merchandise thing probably, and the kids and all of that. Could he go with Cena? Or could Cena go with him? Like, Cena they've been preaching this desperation thing for forever. And again, I have a segment here. I should have found it before I came into this. But it's the dumb ideas that definitely won't happen and wouldn't work even if they did. But it might work if it did happen. So you're telling this story of desperation for John Cena. Like, coming in, he hasn't won a singles match in 2,785 days or whatever the number is. And I'm not being hyperbolic by more than you would think. But you have, okay, Cena is on a losing streak. He's lost to Solo. He's lost to Austin Theory. He's lost to all of these guys. And now his last chance is the Royal Rumble, and he's feeling it, and he's going for it, and he's eliminated. And so now this is it. This is his last WrestleMania. It is his last chance to be the guy. And he sells his soul to the devil, and he goes to The Rock. And that sets up Cena versus Cody as bad guy, good guy at WrestleMania. And even if you just did that for a couple of months, and Cody hits the Crossroads, and Crossroads the heel out of John Cena, I think you could have a fun couple of months with that one, with Cena and Rock on the same side doing that as well. There's other ways that I think you could kind of do this whole story. And one of the criticisms I saw was that if you give The Rock this match, you are taking away the importance of the Elimination Chamber. And fair. But I do also think there's a way you do it. If you do the Cody thing earlier in the night, and you say, you know what, Rock, I appreciate it. I'm my own guy. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on my own. I appreciate you and everything you've done for this business, but I got to do this on my own. I did it once before against your guy, remember that? But I have to do this on my own. And so then The Rock is like, oh, okay, absolutely. Eat shit and die. And it sucks. I think, I don't know if Damian Priest walks into that Elimination Chamber. He has, and I think he is good, and you can, like, tell a story with his push and all those different things. But he has always kind of felt like one of these things is not like the other in this match. And so you have Rock come out, and as Damian Priest is going down, Rock attacks him, boom, Rock bottom, whatever, and now Rock's in this Elimination Chamber. And he goes in. I mean, this is basically the same thing I suggested for Royal Rumble, where Rock made himself the 31st entrant and made his way in. And so, Brady, if you're still watching, I think you're very much seeing that a lot of my just, hey, what if, basically comes from, like, Vince Russo style stuff. But this is why, like, I should put my WWE Universe on Twitch, because, just all over the place. But, like, you can have The Rock come in, like, take Priest's spot, and now Rock's in the Elimination Chamber, and he wins his way to face Cody. Or you have them take him out. Jacob Fatu is the guy, and now it's Jacob Fatu against Cody at WrestleMania. The one I fear could happen. Solo Sikoa does that same thing, because Solo dragged himself back into the championship universe recently. And so I wonder if you get a bit of a kind of a double cross here. And so that's, frustrating. And, but I feel like you could do that sort of a thing. Or, and this is one that I kind of saw on social media. Remember when Drew McIntyre signed his contract his contract extension with the WWE, Rock personally gave him like a sword or some shit. But there was a social media thing, and they're hugging. And it's obvious they're saying something into each other's ear. And now, obviously, that is in real life a thank you or a, hey, by the way, my name's Drew. But in storyline, you could tell like that the seeds were planted that day that they were going to do it. And Drew McIntyre, who has been desperate all along to try to put an end to all of this, who is the one who is really going to put an end to Roman Reigns? It's going to be The Rock, and it's going to be with me, and I'm his corporate champion now. And Drew McIntyre goes into that. So I actually think that there are a lot of different ways that they can go off of this where it actually makes sense and it can actually tie in with a lot of different ways that they would go. Now, it's The Rock, and a lot of these things have been a little convoluted with him before. And so there's a very real chance that what happens on Saturday is real dumb. And I'm going to look like an idiot for having spent like 6 minutes breaking all of these things down. But I do genuinely think that there's a lot of different ways that they could go. Brady also saying, I think Heyman's favor for Punk will be revealed at Mania. I think that could be totally. Yeah, absolutely. And I saw someone tweet this out today as well, that like Punk wins the Chamber, but now Rock is putting pressure on him to give him his championship match. And so Punk calls in his favor, and it's Roman to take care of The Rock. And now you have Punk versus Cody. You have Roman versus The Rock. Seth is there, and you do it that way. Like you can have that sort of a match, and that sort of a build off from those two, and kind of tie in the favor, because there's obviously a story with the favor that Triple H wouldn't just put that out there without there being anything. But I do think that there is a way that all this ties together, and all of it actually makes quite a bit of sense. So that is why I'm so intrigued by this whole storyline. We then get to the main event. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez taking on Naomi and Bianca Belair for the Women's Tag Team Championships. This was excellent. The whole crowd was into it the whole time. Michael Cole was killing it, calling this match as it picked up toward its end. And at the end, you get Dom distracting the referee. Raquel grabs Naomi's leg and slams her into the post after the split leg moonsault attempt. Ends up getting to the pin. Really fun match. It frees up Naomi to go on and Bianca to go into a singles run. Jade comes back. We do that whole thing. Everyone's happy. We do that sort of a thing. And so I think there's some intrigue with what you can do there. And you get the tag team titles on Raquel and Liv. But this was so good. I was like, man, maybe we delay the Jade story a little bit more, because these guys crushed it in that match, and I want to see that again. So I think there are a few options off of that. But overall, this was a fine show. It picks up at the end. The first little bit took us a bit to get there. Like, nothing felt irrelevant on this show. Nothing felt nothing was as bad as the Thunder Rosa, whatever the hell that was, on last week. But nothing was real blow away until you get to the very, very end. So good episode though of Monday Night Raw.